Om Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyan Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutai Yatha Nidraya Yasakshat Kurute Prabodhasame Svatmanameva Dvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivāṅkuro jagadidam prāṅnirvikalpam punah maya kalpita deshakalkalana vaichitrachitrīkritam maya viva vijrumbhayatyapi mahayogi vayasvechaya tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Śānti 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 Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Bhadram Karane Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaihi Stuštuvagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti nah Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho harishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir dadhatu. Om Śānti Śānti Śānti. So Bhashyam says Tatra Tavat Omkāra Nirnayaya Prathamam Prakranam Agama Pradhanam Atmatattva Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. So Omkāra Nirnaya, Omkāra Swarupa Nirnaya. Analyzing Omkāra. Once you analyze Omkāra, then you realize, that the meaning of the Omkāra is Jīva-Ishvara Aikyam, Advaitam. Omkāra, the subject matter, the meaning of, that is better. The meaning of word Omkāra ultimately is this non-dual Brahman, whole. Therefore, neha nanasti kinchan. There is no manyness here in this world. So there is no subject-object division in reality. Here means in a waking state, one definitely experiences oneself as a subject and the world as an object, and one has a conclusion that I am different from the world is different from me, etc., etc. And therefore, this kind of a division, the duality, is taken as a reality. Well, Upanishad says, Neha nanasti kinchana. There is no manyness here. Even though experientially there is a duality, but there is no, etc. And we have an experience of a non-duality like a waking, in a deep sleep state, even waking state also. In a moment of joy, there is really not division between you and the world, especially you and that object of desire, which, the division goes away because the desire is, satisfied. And as the desire is satisfied, the division between subject and object resolves from your mind. Because basically you don't look upon yourself as an individual at that time. You don't look upon yourself as a limited being, and therefore the division cannot remain then. So you experience it. That's how you drop smallness from I. Then only you get a joy. Any limitation centered on I, and if you are aware of that limitation, you will not have a joy. So definitely in a moment of joy also, you drop that smallness. Smallness can be dropped. The individuality can be dropped because it's not you. You definitely drop it naturally also in a deep sleep state. And so in a waking state also, there are occasions where you drop. And whenever you drop smallness or individuality, you have a joy. You have a joy. I continue, but the individuality, the sense of limitation, etc. goes away. Therefore, ego is not a reality of oneself, that we have to understand very clearly. So, I am ego or I am Ahankara, I am a Jiva, I am a limited being, etc. is not a reality, because I continue even in deep sleep state, but the individuality doesn't continue. So, the very kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam, all which belongs to ego, all resolve. So, in a moment of joy, that is a experience of wholeness. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. So, basically, in a deep sleep state, in a samadhi, or in a moment of joy, well, definitely there is an experience of a non-duality. And that is what you are seeking. One is definitely seeking non-duality. When you say I am seeking a happiness, you are seeking wholeness actually. You are seeking non-duality. So therefore it says, well, nihana nasti kinchana. This dvaitam etc. is basically superimposed only. Anyway, so and so it is only this Advaita is to be understood in terms of a recognition. Non-duality is a recognition in terms of a knowledge. You recognize the truth of yourself, basically, in terms of knowledge. A knowledge that embraces basically you, the world, and even Ishvara also. So unless you see that whole, definitely your problem is not solved. So far as the duality continues between you and the world, so far as the duality continues between you and Ishvara also, definitely there is no cessation of a problem. That's because we look upon you, Ishvara, different from myself, as a source of fear, basically. Anyway, so in knowledge only you see this identity of you, the world, and God. So experientially it is there. You are you and Ishvara, you and the world. Experiential duality is there, but that's how we have started analysis, and I am coming to that. It's all apparent. The whole thing is apparent. Anyway, so you see this non-dual vision of a whole. So neither experience, please understand me, neither experience of a deep sleep state or experience of a joy in a waking state or experience of a samadhi destroy the perception of duality. No experience of a non-duality can destroy the perception of a duality. Knowledge of a non-duality also cannot destroy the perception of a duality. Both the things. Experience of a non-duality cannot destroy the perception of duality. Knowledge of a non-duality, you see yourself as a non-dual self, cannot destroy the perception of a duality. And so, knowledge basically what it does then? Why are you teaching Dvaitam is mithya and all that? Because if the perception of duality continues, yes, but knowledge accounts for the duality. Knowledge accounts for the duality. What is the status in terms of a reality of the duality? That is what is understood. So, please understand, experience of a non-duality basically escapes from the perception of a duality. In knowledge, I face duality, not I run away from duality. In knowledge, I face duality and see that there is no duality. That is what we have started, that asti, etc. So in a knowledge, basically, I face duality and see. See means I understand cognitively, there is no duality. And in fact, I appreciate and enjoy the world, the duality I perceive. But at the same time, I know that there is nothing dual. That's how we experience. The people who really enjoy sunrise, they have a scientific knowledge that there is really no sunrise, but yet they enjoy. The way actually the rise in the eastern sky of that sun, well, they literally enjoy, and it is so beautiful. Sometimes sunset, sometimes sunrise. So when you enjoy something, it need not be that in your mind you have taken it as a real. You know for sure it is not real, yet you can enjoy. And the sky also is not blue, one can enjoy. I really enjoy. In so many years in India, I have never seen a blue sky. Honestly, I'm telling you. The blue sky which I see here in America, I have not seen in India. Literally, because of pollution or whatever reason. I see here it's totally blue. Of course, clouds should not be there, but you see the blueness. So basically, you know it, there is nothing blue, because that's an everyday example I give. So just because you perceive something and enjoy it doesn't mean you take it as a real. You need not. You enjoy even, this rainbow, etc. You know there is no substance in that rainbow, but still you welcome the rainbow. And therefore, just because duality has no absolute reality, it doesn't mean that it is not perceived, not that it is not enjoyed, etc. That's not the point at all. The point only of the all Upanishads, or even here and now in Mandukya, Advaita Bhava Prayojanam, Bhashyam said. So the point is that the truth must be known as a whole. And truth of everything is known as a whole. So the whole should account for the world, for the God, for the myself, for my body, for my mind, for my memory, for my struggles, for my thought, for my emotions, for my hunger, for my thirst. One reality behind that. That's what I'm saying. Hunger is different from thirst. Thirst is different from any other emotion, anger, etc. Well, all behind all that there is one thing which is real, one whole. All this division, all this duality cannot create a division in that. That's the whole. That is you. That's how you account for the duality. So basically, I am that whole should be seen. This is the only purpose. Advaita Bhava Prayojana. It's an amazing thing. The whole which you are seeking in your daily experiences, you seek a wholeness, fullness. That whole is you. That's it. Either you say world is whole, because if a whole has to be whole, anything cannot be separate from the whole. Yeah, nothing can be away from the whole. If anything remains away from the whole, it may be myself, or it may be a mobile, or it could be anything. Then definitely the whole is not whole. For the whole to be the whole, well, everything is understood as a whole. Either you say I am Brahman, you say Sarvam Khalidam Brahma. Any name and form is basically the truth of any name and form is this whole called Brahman. This is called Sarvatma Bhava. Sarvatma Bhava means you understand I am whole, and therefore everything is I alone. There is no real division between me and anything else, etc. And definitely this knowledge, the whole is accounted for in terms of a knowledge, and knowledge definitely requires a means, an instrument of knowledge, well, and that is Shastra, and someone has to wield that instrument properly, called teacher, etc. That's how Dvaita Prapancha Upashama has to be done, because avidya krutatvat, Bhashyakara said, it is born of this avidya. You are not appreciating this whole which is there behind this entire Dvaita Prapancha. And that's how you take the division between you and the world, and etc., you and Īśvara, etc., as a real. Well, that's not real. That's how word avidya also has come, which can be negated by vidya, is avidya. And therefore one of the meaning. There are two meanings of avidya. Avidya is basically one meaning is swayam na vidyate iti avidya, which does not exist on its own, is avidya. And you can understand any name and form does not exist on its own. I have already started the topic that, well, ultimately the whole name and form, anything you take, either you take a flower, you take a petal, you take a cell, you take a quark, you take a electron, nothing, no form, so-called object has no reality at all. Because it doesn't, anything which is real has to have a self-existence. That's called real. If it derives existence from something else, means it is simply an appearance. Even a flower is an appearance, a form. That's it. Flower is not an object, a real object, for the name called flower. And therefore, basically, there is a common basis, common essence, common truth of whole thing, a whole flower. And therefore, that existence alone pervades everything. Anyway, I'm coming to that. And therefore, ultimately, the basis for the entire creation of all names and forms, is one thing alone, and that is oneself, that is Brahman, etc. And we started this topic, and that I mentioned also. Shastra says, Neha nanasti kinchana. Shastra says, Vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. So all this vikara, the entire world, the product, etc., names and forms, well, they have a reality only in the word. So corresponding to the word, well, there is no really object outside. Corresponding, there could be a form, that's true, but the form is not real. Form doesn't exist on its own ultimately, and well, ultimate reality is this asti alone. The meaning of any name and the meaning of any name ultimately is Brahman, asti, Satyam Brahma. Therefore, Sadeva Sumedam Agra Asit. The entire creation was Sat alone before, and right now also it is Sat, Ekameva Advitiyam, whole. So, which is free from the Sajati, Vijati, Swagata Bheda. So, definitely there is no internal division, there is no division, external division, free from whole division, all kinds of division. Well, names and forms will create a division if you take them as real. Otherwise, well, it is a manifestation of one asti. That's it. So, we have seen that basic reality for all these forms, for which we have different names, like flower and stamen and petal and all that, etc. So, reality of any form is different from that form. So, reality of flower is a non-flower, because petal, and basically petal also I told you, the reality of the petal is a non-petal, it may be a cell. The reality of a cell is a non-cell. Therefore, where is reality? What is reality in this, ultimately? So, the final reality should not be a form, because any form is reduced. Frankly speaking, it should not be any object. Any object is available for. Any object, when you objectify something, it has some form. And that form is reduced to some other form. That's the reality for that. But that form, suppose that form is again reducible. Therefore, the ultimate substance should be irreducible. Should not be object. Honestly, should not be object. Yeah. But where is in this Krishna? Where is Īśvara in this? There is a Īśvara. It is like going on a highway and you will show me, Swamiji, this is the way. This is the way go to Washington. Yeah, this is the thing. See, understand this. These things are put together. Right? Petal put together is flower, you say? Just putting together is not flower, sir. I can make a heap of the petals and I can say, well, this is a flower. You will say, what are you saying, Swami? Yeah. So, putting together intelligently, that's where Īśvara comes. Intelligently, it's the knowledge of Īśvara. It's the knowledge of Īśvara. But Swamiji, the petal and flower, same thing. No, sir. What flower serves a purpose, petal do not serve. Please understand me. When you go to wish your friend in a birthday, you don't take petals, okay? You take a flower. If you give a petals, he will feel insulted. And what petal serves the purpose, a flower doesn't serve. Yeah. You want to shower petal on a Swami, suppose. Just, I'm saying. There you throw flowers on the, people may throw, but I'm just generally use petals. So what one name form serves a purpose, other name and form doesn't serve. So therefore, things have to be put together intelligently to serve a purpose. That's where Īśvara comes in. That's where Īśvara's knowledge comes in. Please understand. And therefore, this whole thing is a knowledge of Īśvara. That's why we call it Sarvagnya. Because any name and form is you see that it is intelligently put together, and you are trying to search the reality of any name and form, and you find there are many branches of knowledge opens up. To understand flower totally, well, you need how many branches, and yet it is not over final. It's not final yet. The flower is this. No. Ultimately, we'll have to come to asti. The reality of the flower, reality of the petal, reality of the cell, the reality of the electron, reality of the particle, reality of the electron, reality of the quarks. Ultimately, has to come to something which is formless, which cannot be further reduced. If you further reduce, then you means that the given thing is not reality. After reducing, what you get is the reality. Well, no. It should be formless, irreducible, and it should be self-existent. Because Flower exists on account of petal. Petal exists on account of cells. Cell exists on account of particles. Particle exists on account of electron. Electron exists on account of a quartz. Quartz exists, suppose, on account of something else. Therefore, ultimate reality, should be self-existent, irreducible, formless. What is formless is spatially limitless. Yeah, because basically this asti, ultimately, which is formless, irreducible, self-existent, is a basis of flower, is a basis of mountain, is a basis of an ocean, and is basis of a mobile, is a basis of the body, is basis of the thought, is basis of the hunger, and is basis of the thirst, is basis of any emotion. Everything is asti. Everything is asti. It's one common basis. That asti, which is called Sat. That is the basis for the entire creation. Time is, space is, everything is. That is Satyam Brahma, or Sat. Same. That's why it's limitless. And therefore it is timeless, because it's the truth of even time, truth of space. Truth of time is timeless. Asti, right? Truth of time definitely is timeless. Truth of flower is non-flower, right? So same way. Please understand, it is free from all attributes. The asti. And then self-existent, Brahman, irreducible. Brahman is the basis of the entire creation. Knowing which, it's academic information. And therefore, what is the use ultimately of this? We tell you, you cannot arrive at this, self-existent Brahman. You cannot arrive at any existent thing when that does not become an object of consciousness. So what goes parallelly. Either you start with the flower, you start with the petal, you start with the cell. Something is there. When you say petal is, definitely petal knowledge is, petal consciousness is. You cannot arrive at any existent thing unless it becomes an object of consciousness. Yeah. Please try to arrive at the existence of anything without consciousness. No. A thing has to shine in your consciousness. Then you say it is. It is when you say, definitely it shines in your consciousness, starting from space, time, any object. It could be a black hole, it could be a cell, it could be your emotion, it could be your hunger, it could be your thirst, it could be a memory, it could be a single thought. It could be your body, anything. It could be your senses. Anything is, definitely shines in your consciousness. Right? That's how we say bhati. Bhati means it shines. Shines means it shines as an object of consciousness. Shines means what? Not shines in the light outside. Even that light shines in this consciousness. Okay? So therefore, Anubhati comes later. Anyway, so my point is, so ultimately it becomes an object of consciousness. Nothing in this world has a capacity to shine on its own, starting from luminaries. Even sun is not self-shining. Neither the fire is self-shining. Neither the lightning is self-shining. Nothing is self-shining. It doesn't exist by itself. One, that we have already seen. Its existence is on account of that asti, Satyam Brahma. It doesn't exist by itself, nor does it reveal itself. And so it has to be revealed. It should be an object of consciousness. It definitely proves its existence in your consciousness. Definitely. Anything. It could be space, time, or any object definitely proves its existence in your consciousness. And there is no distance between that object, name and form, and the consciousness. No. Even if you say, Swamiji, the sun shines in my consciousness, but there is a distance between me, the consciousness, and the sun. Sir, there is no distance. You say, there is a distance, Swamiji. A distance in terms of space, but the space shines in your consciousness. And therefore, basically, the object along with the space shines in your consciousness. They are non-separate from you. That's what we say. The whole world is non-separate from you. So consciousness, but then you said you. Yeah, then that's what I should say. Are you not a conscious being? Yeah, I am a conscious being. How will you, how have you proven this, that you are conscious being? Swami, one thing is there, I need not prove, that is I am conscious being. Yeah, you are, well, definitely, I am not a conscious being, definitely you can say when you are a conscious being, okay? And therefore, it's like saying, a person says, oh, I am dead, I am dead, I am dead. One who says I am dead is definitely, he is alive, okay? So it is exactly like that. Like, so, and yes, you don't appreciate yourself as a limitless consciousness or limitless conscious being. That is true. That's true. You appreciate you as an existent being, but you are a limitless existence. That you don't know. You appreciate yourself as a conscious being, but you are not able to appreciate you are a limitless conscious being. That's true. That's true. That's what we say, self-ignorance. Yeah, but I'm an existent conscious being, means I'm just a conscious being who exists. Well, you don't go to Vedanta, definitely not. And therefore, ultimately, so whole world is not, it doesn't shine on its own. It's not revealing itself. It's not self-revealing. The whole world is not self-existent, we have already said. It definitely is, its existence comes from this asti alone. So the world is not self-existent, not self-revealing. Anyway, then what is self-existent, self-revealing? Well, self-shining. Well, one thing should be there. Either you say which is self-evident is self-existing, or what is self-existing is self-shining. Either. Am I right? Right? The world which is not self-shining should be revealed as existent by you, the conscious being. But you, the conscious being, ultimately the consciousness is self-shining, because it is self-existent. And so what is self-existent, irreducible Sat is this Chit. And therefore you are basically, so Asti Bhati is the common basis, but that Asti Bhati is what? You. Asti is Sat and Bhati is Chit, ultimately. So basically whole, so the self alone is self-evident, self-existing. And that's how this I is called self, because that's the only thing. That's the only thing. Why I is called the self? Because it is self-evident and it is self-existent. Because it is self-evident and self-existent, the I is called self. Anyway, so when you say is, that self-evident consciousness alone is what we call self-existent. So self-existence, which is Chit, the consciousness, and that is invariable. The names and forms definitely are variable. What is invariable is the truth. So this Sat-Chit, Asti Bhati, etc. E, which is invariable, is the truth of the entire names and forms, entire world which is variable. So this is how, so this Sat, Chit basically being that invariable of everything, is Ananta also automatically, because it lends existence to space, time and everything. It inheres in everything. There is nothing other than that. If something is away from the Asti, then it has an independent Asti. It has independent Asti. Well, because that is not there, therefore this Asti basically pervades all names and forms. Names and forms are just appearances of Asti Bhati. That's it, nothing else. Asti Bhati alone shines as this all names and forms, etc. So this Sat-Chit is basically Ananta, Ananda, etc., Sat-Chit-Ananda, etc. So it's there. And it is this limitlessness that makes you that makes your happiness most desirable thing. That's where it manifests also in a deep sleep state. You don't have any dimension. In a moment of joy, of course, it is there. That's what the whole is, or that's what the limitless is. So when you are pleased by the flower, well, you say, I love the flower, etc. Well, that comes there, which now don't want to go into that. And now here, yeah. So here, tatra tavad Omkāra nirnaya Prathamam Prakaranam Agama Pradhanam Atmatattva Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. So we have to do a nirnaya of a Omkāra. Now I'm going to Bhashyam. So Omkāra, the Swarupa of Omkāra, analyzing Omkāra, etc. Omkāra is a name of a Brahman, Parameshvara. It's a neat name, in fact. He likes this name. Rather than you call him a Rama and Krishna and etc., or Deva, etc., or Deva, etc. No, he likes somehow Omkāra very much. It's a neat name. And this same Omkāra is called Udgita by the Samavedis. Same Omkāra is called Pranava by the Yajurvedis. Same Omkāra is called Omkāra by the Atharvavedis. And then this Upanishad belongs to Atharvaveda. Therefore, here they have used the word not Pranava, not Udgita, but Omkāra. That's how it is, should be understood. And means the names are different, but the meaning is one, that is Paramatma. And it has been narrated that meditating on this Omkāra or doing a japa of this Omkāra, well, mental chant, or analyzing this Omkāra, which we are going to do, well, one gains knowledge. Analyzing Omkāra, one gains moksha, knowledge, and meditating on Omkāra on Pranava Japa, mental chant of Omkāra, removes the obstacle and brings closer, prepares your mind for the knowledge. So this is how it has been narrated. So, people say because Omkāra means like this, and therefore it has a lot of significance for gaining moksha, etc. Well, no. Yes, there are some reasons. Like I can tell you, Gaudapadacharya ji is going to give 6 reasons why Omkāra has so much significance in Shastra, or why Omkāra has so much significance for the mumukshus, etc., or jignasus. That is there. 6 reasons he is going to give. But just because there are reasons, therefore Omkāra has a significance? No. How can you say? Bhashyakara himself says Agama. I'm going to explain it. What Agama means, with the knowledge which is coming down from generations, starting from the rishis. The importance of Omkāra in this pursuit, well, is not due to some reasons. It is coming down from generations, so therefore it has its significance. Like one of the significance is, well, Omkāra has 3 matras, Akara, Ukara, Makara. And Akara comes from, it's a guttural, it comes from your throat. And Makara, well, is ultimately labial, where you use your lips, right? And therefore, between your throat and the lips, all the centers are there to utter all alphabets. So gutturals are there, then palatals are there, and then dentals are there, right? Tathadadana, dental, palatals are there. Then cerebrals. Cerebrals are there, like tatha dadhana, and palatals are there, and then labials are there. Finally, papa babama. Gutturals are there, kakha gagaga, kakha gang. So entire and all the words are made up of syllables, and all syllables are pronounced between your throat and labial, right? Ukara is labial, I'm sorry. And Makara is basically Nasika. There is a point of articulation which is outside this mouth, and that is this, by which you pronounce Makara. Makara is a nasal. Okay? And therefore Akara stands for stands for the kantha, whereas the point of articulation is a kantha. Ukara is a labial, U, and Makara is nasal. So all words are covered. There are some nasals, there are some gutturals, there are some labials, there are some cerebrals, there are some palatals, right? And therefore all dentals, tatadadana, everything. Whole alphabet is covered. Therefore Omkāra stands for all the names. And all the names again stand for all the forms. So entire world is covered by Omkāra. And between 2 Omkāra there is a matra, etc., where basically which is adhishthanam for this utterance of Omkāra, utterance of the names and forms. Well, there is some adhishthanam, and that is that asti bhati priyam. So Sat-Chit-Ananda. So this in detail it is going to come. But the importance of Omkāra is because, Swamiji, you explained that. Now I understood the significance of Omkāra. No. Just because the rishis were doing, their disciples were doing, what? What they were doing? Meditating on Omkāra. What they were doing? Chanting, mental chant of Omkāra, Pranava Japa, or analyzing Omkāra, which is the predominant part of this Upanishad. Well, and therefore, if you want moksha, upaya bhutam, pratipatti upaya bhutam, Bhashyakara says, this is the means. Pratipatti means knowledge. Atma pratipatti. For Atma Jnanam, this is upaya bhutam. Not because you are going to give a series of reasons. No. Series of reasons are there because in case if your intellect is not able to assimilate what I am saying, then I am giving you a few reasons. But it is supporting. Just because the reasons are there, therefore there is an importance. No. Agama pradhanam. Agama means the knowledge which is coming down from generations, etc. I am going to give you an example. So many information we have which you and me have not read. We have heard from our parents, they have heard from their parents, they have heard from their parents, they have heard from their parents. That's Agama. I'll tell you the examples I will give you. And therefore, here Acharya one says, he gives an example, like you should, very beautiful. You should obey your mother's instructions. Why? This why itself is not important. Just being your mother, you have to observe. Why? But somebody gives a reason, because she has taken care of you and you are so small, and she must have remained awake in the nights when you were creating all issues, and she has suffered a lot to bring you up, etc. And now see how now also you see her, how nice she is towards you. She loves you and all that. Therefore you should obey her instructions, etc. No, I'm giving you reason. Then why are you saying no? No, just because she is my mother, I should obey. Not reasons. Because I can. If you go by this logic or some reasoning, there are other women who are definitely talking to you nicely, who may be loving you also, but it doesn't mean that you obey. But so here it's a different thing. So therefore, same way here, because there are few reasons which Gaudapadacharya is going to give, therefore, there is a significance of Omkāra. No. Just because there is Omkāra Agama has been shown the importance, one should take a resort. One should, employ as a means in order to either remove the obstacles in terms of a japa, etc., or meditating on Omkāra, Saguna Brahma Upasana, or analyzing ultimately. Once you get the preparedness, obstacles have gone, then definitely same Omkāra will help you for gaining self-knowledge through, because the subject matter of the Omkāra ultimately, the meaning of Omkāra is Jiveshvara Aikyam. Anyway, and moreover, the importance of Omkāra, just not for the Sanatan Dharmis. The importance of Omkāra is there in other dharmas, other darshanas also. Like Bauddhas also use Omkāra, Jains also use Omkāra, Sikh people also use Omkāra, Arya Samajis also use Omkāra, etc. And there are other things also. So basically, like a Punarjanma, etc., has a belief, not for only Sanatan Dharmis. Like for the Bauddhas, Jainas, etc., also is there. Sikhs also believe in Punarjanma. Same way, Omkāra has importance not only in a Sanatan Dharma, in other religions also. Anyway, so therefore it has its own importance. We need not go in for reasoning, etc. And so, in this Upanishad, yes, one thing we should not expect is somebody how to meditate on Omkāra. Whether Mandukya will discuss, no. Whether Mandukya will discuss about the japa, pranava japa, etc., the mental chant about Omkara, this Upanishad is going to talk about it? No. Upanishad subject matter is ultimately Jiveshwara Aikyam or non-duality, and that one can understand through the analysis of Omkara. That's it. So that is, Upanishad thinks that you are already prepared, and now he wants to give you this knowledge. So Atma Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam Bhashyakara said. Anyway, so and how basically this Omkara etc. helps. So very beautifully it says the meaning of Omkara. So meaning of Omkara is what? Well, it's Soham. Om and Soham. Very beautiful. So basically Soham means what? Saha Aham, Jiveshwara Aikyam. Saham is that, Aham means I, that is I, that thou art. So it says, the meaning of the Omkara is basically Soham. So what should he says, see, in a Soham you have to do what? Sakaram cha hakaram cha lopayitva prayojayet. Sakaram cha hakaram cha lopayitva. From so, sakara goes, O remains. And aham, right? Aham. And that hakara goes, remains. And therefore, O and lastly the makara, means, that is Om. And therefore, so if you remove this Soham etc. From the Soham, ultimately it is Om only. And what have you removed? Well, we have removed the consonants. They are called Vyanjanam. Sakara and Hakara are Vyanjanam. We have removed that. So basically, so it says, and what is the Vyanjanam? Basically, Vyanjanam is, Vyajyate anena arthaha iti Vyanjanam. In a given word, basically, the meaning is revealed by Vyanjanam, by the consonants. Really. Like, you take a word, Adbhutam, right? It's a Sanskrit word. Now, how many consonants are there? Adbhutam, Dakara is there. Remove that. Bhu, Bakara is there. Remove that. Ta whole. So, Takara is there. Remove that. Makara, you keep it Makara if you want. Because is also a Svara. No problem. So, you keep just Svara. Keep a Svara. If you keep a Svara, you will not get the meaning. Okay? Like Adbhutam. So, Dakara is gone, Bakara is gone, Takara is gone. U, am. What is the meaning of am? No. Add Dakara in Akara, so Ad. Then add Bakara in that, U, Bhu. Then add Takara in that then Adbhutam. That has a meaning. So, Arthaha Vyajyate anena iti Vyanjanam. Really speaking, but what is the basis of Vyanjanam? Can I chant, can I Swamiji utter just Vyanjanam and get the meaning? You cannot chant. Try. You cannot utter any Vyanjanam without Swara. Just Bhakara or Takara, etc., Dakara, you just try to speak. It cannot. Therefore, Swayam Rajati iti Swaraha. Basically, which is the basis, which doesn't require anything else. That is Swara. And but then that Swara together, ultimately cannot reveal the meaning. You have to add Vyanjanam into that. So basically here in Soham also, so the basis is Om only. Means the Soham, the Jiveshwara Aikyam basically is this, the identity. The identity which is revealed by this Soham has been there as a basis in Om. So therefore, this is the first chapter, that is Omkāra Nirnaya. We have to do Omkāra Nirnaya, Omkāra Swarupa Nirnaya, which is nothing but ultimately Jiveshwara Aikyam. You can understand through Soham also, and its Nirnaya has to be done by the analysis of the Omkara, etc. And it is said here Agama Pradhanam, as I told you. Agama Pradhanam is, as I told you, it's what has the knowledge which you have received through parampara, etc., is called Agama. And since it is coming down through the through the people who have used this Omkāra, etc., and for the getting rid of obstacles, for getting rid of for gaining knowledge, gaining moksha. Well, since the time of the rishis, etc., well, it has a independent importance. You need not go into the reasoning of why Omkara is so important, etc. This is just agama only. So there are several things which you know only through agama. You have not studied. Like they say, this is by the way what example I'm going to give. You may feel little too much dilution, but that's about the example I know here actually. Like people, especially the women who cook the dal, etc. They say if you want to boil the dal, you should not add the salt. I think so. If I'm not, if you can correct me, but if you add salt in the water and then you want to boil this dal, it would not. It will not boil, and that will remain as it is. So now, if you ask me what is the reason, well, I don't know. Suppose I know the reason, but this you gain knowledge not through science or etc. Because your mother has told you while teaching cooking, etc. Well, or you were learning cooking, well, she told you should not do that. Or then she must have told you something else also. She must have told you, well, adds little bit oil in that dal which you want to boil, and that will quickly then it will be boiled very quickly. Now this is called agama. Well, how did your mother came to know? Well, she knew from her while learning. This is agama, very useful. Later, well, you in your mind it is going on. What is the reason? What is the reason? Well, you may say, well, adding the salt in the water, well, the boiling point differs, and therefore, well, definitely it doesn't get exactly, it doesn't reach to that temperature by which the dal can be cooked, etc. That's the reason we give. Or adding dal means what? Adding oil. How does it get quickly cooked? But ultimately, if a layer of oil is there on the water, well, it works as a very mild pressure cooker, because whatever the water generates the steam will not escape because of the layer of oil, and therefore, well, definitely it works as a mild pressure cooker, and it definitely gets cooked. I may give a reason, but you don't bother. I'm telling you, whole of your life, well, if you are cooking, well, you have this knowledge, and which you have gained from your mother, or father, especially mother, not father. Mother. Well, there are other things. Even I have heard now people here, many people are from South India, and I would like to tell you this. We prepare chips, that potato chips and etc. In southern India, they prepare chips from the banana, and those banana chips should never be fried in any other oil but coconut oil. If you fry in other oil, it will be spoiled. It becomes rancid. Our Umlaji will be very happy. The point is, why? You do it exactly what you have learned from your, the previous generation. There is a reason, of course, there is a reason. But you don't bother about reasoning. You don't bother. Same way here. Of course, the reason is they give is, because the coconut oil at a room temperature, but definitely, freezes. Freeze may become solid. So if it is cooked there and it comes down to the room temperature, all the chips will have a small layer of a oil on it, and therefore it doesn't get rancid because the air cannot contact immediately it. Something like that. Some reason they give. But you don't bother. So basically, there are so many things which you have learned through agama. Through the generations, which is called agama. Same way, the importance of the Omkāra. Omkāra is how Omkāra reveals Jiveshvara Aikyam, etc. And why so much of importance in Kathopanishad here, in Chandogya also. In Chandogya there is a discussion on Udgita, in the very first chapter itself. Even in a Prashnopanishad also, I think there is a discussion on Omkāra. And so several Upanishad talks about Omkāra. Why so much importance? What are the reasons? Need not go into that. Agama Pradhanam, Bhashyakara says. Well, ultimately, the importance of the Omkāra is because it is coming down. People have used it as a means in either to get rid of the obstacles which are there on this path, or well, the very analysis of the Omkara gives you the knowledge of this non-dual self, etc. And therefore, this has been, that's how Bhashyakara says, agama pradhanam. Means you supply. Now, in order to understand, once you take it, take the Omkara as a very significant thing, predominant, important thing as a means in order to gain moksha, and then you want a certain reasoning, well, you supply it. Therefore, here Bhashyakara has not said agama matram. Just because agama has said take it. No. Because your buddhi needs certain reasoning, well, then the reasoning is provided by the Acharya. Gaudapada Acharya is going to talk about six main reasons why it is so important. That's how agama pradhanam. Pradhanam means, well, predominantly because this has been used as a means from the generations. So that is pradhanam. But definitely, predominantly, that is the reason you also employ that as a means. But at the same time, supply certain reasonings which Gaudapada Acharya is going to do, and will do it also. So pratipatti upaya bhutam. Well, this is the pratipatti. And so upaya means upaya for this atmajnanam, etc. So we may so Omkara is the name of a name of a Paramatma, etc. And as I told you, when the japa of manas japa, etc., mental chant, etc., or meditation on Omkara as a Saguna Brahma, etc., Īśvara, etc., well, one can have a doubt. So why not? There are other names of Īśvara, there are other forms also. Well, I can take any name and I can meditate on any form. Kya fark padta hai? What a big difference it is ultimately. What is the Vishesha of this Omkara, etc. If I chant, let's say Om Namah Shivaya, etc. There also Om comes. Let me talk a little later. Anyway, what I'm saying is, suppose you just chant Krishna's name, etc., or meditate on Krishna, etc. Will I not gain moksha? What do you think? No, we are not saying that. Please understand. But the Vishesha is there. Some Vishesha is there here. That's how I said you. In that case, you don't go to reasoning. What is a Vishesha? Omkara also is the name of a Lord. Krishna also is the name of Lord. I can meditate on Krishna. I can chant, mental chant, japa also of Krishna. I can do any name. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, I can do. Well, I can gain moksha. Do you think, well, that will not help? Just because Mandukya started discussing Omkara, so now you say, well, Omkara alone is everything? So, no, but there is a Vishesha. That Vishesha is because this has been used as a means by all generations, starting from the Rishis. So, some Vishesha is there. We don't go into the reasoning, what is the Vishesha, etc., why there is a Vishesha. And therefore, even to chant other names of the Lord with other forms, Omkara is to be employed. Yo Vedadau Swarah Proktau Vedantecha Pratishtita. Vedadau Swarah Proktaha. So basically, Omkara is always chanted in any Vedic mantra in the beginning. And therefore, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Klim Krishnaya Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Ram Ramaya Namaha, etc. Every mantra we chant with Omkara first. So, means you chant other Devata's name, etc., that's true. But if you ultimately want a oneness with that Devata, that Omkara is definitely going to help you, because that Omkara Sarupa is basically Jiveshvara Ikyam only. And therefore, in order to gain moksha, well, Omkara has a certain Vishesha, etc. Anyway, and that's how in a Gayatri also, in a Upanayana, etc., they initiate by a Gayatri. Then if he's a Brahmin boy, then he has to chant 3 times in a Gayatri. Like Om Buhu Bhuva Suvaha. Then Om Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Na Prachodayat. Om. So if he's a Brahmin boy who is initiated into Upanayanam, he has to chant 3 Omkaras. Then the Kshatriya means twice. It begins with Om, Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Savitu, and then lastly Om. If it is Vaishya, value only once, that is Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Savitu, etc. Prachodaya, not again Omkara. So this is how, basically, this is all shows the pradhanyam, the significance, etc. of the Omkara. And well, best is, it becomes a means for Atmajnana, moksha, etc. So this is how Prathama Prakranam. So Pradhanam. Omkara Nirnayaya Agama Pradhanam. Well, Atmajnana Atma Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. Tavad Omkara. So this is the first, this is the subject matter of the first chapter. Or else I have already told you, since all the Karikas are based on the Upanishad mantra, this first chapter is called Agama Pradhanam, because Agama means a Shastra. That all meaning I have already given you before. And so Agama means a Shastra, and therefore the whole Karika has a basis in this all Upanishad mantras, 12 mantras, and therefore the Upanishad along with the Karika, the Karikas, which is a commentary on that, is considered as the first chapter and called as a Agama Prakranam. So this is how it should be understood. Then, well, what is the second? What is the subject matter of the second chapter? Yasya, Bhashyakara says, Yasya Dvaita Prapanchasya Upashame Advaita Pratipatti Rajvamiva Sarpadi Vikalpa Upashame Rajju Tattva Pratipatti Tasya Dvaitasya Hetutaha Vaitathya Pratipadanaya Dvitiyam Prakranam. That we will see it on Monday now. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.